It's very, very nice to meet you. So
Thank you.
let's start. So I'm very happy to welcome Iryna Tsilyk
Yes, right.
with her film The Earth is Blue as an Orange from Ukraine documentary. So I have a few questions. This is a Q&A for the soon to be shown film. So I would like to know how much did the war actually interfere with the making of the film? And I realize, of course, that the war takes over everything, but how did you deal with it while shooting?
The war is going on for the 8th year in Ukraine now. So talking honestly, lots of people just got used to this, situation or these rules of the game. Maybe it sounds weird, but we live just inside of that situation. And as to me, from the very beginning of this war, I have been coming to Donbass lots of times because of different reasons. First of all, I'm the writer and I took part in different literary readings for local people who live in the frontline zone. And also my husband, he is the writer too, but he has served as a soldier in Ukrainian armed forces for some time, and that was a very surreal experience for our family. And then I also tried documentary, and first I've shot 2 short documentary films about women at war. It were the part of Cinema Almanac, Invisible Battalion, about women who fight during this Russian-Ukrainian war. And later I also decided to try to deal with this full-length documentary film, The Earth is Blue as an Orange, and that was a huge challenge for me because, it was really important to try to realize what does it mean to live there in the war zone and try to live normal life despite all the circumstances, all the war conditions and sounds of explosions and all that kind of things. And when I met this family, Anna and her children, I don't know, I just admired them, and it was a very special experience to spend 1 year of my life together with them.
Yes, it is incredible. This woman and her children and the normal life they lead within the chaos of war, and how they even used some of that for, I think, inspiration, and also because it just was happening and they used this material that was around them, which was war. I'm going to switch a little bit because you talked about literature. I'm really curious about how your writing life, and because I know you've published poetry books, you're a poet, you're part of PEN organization.
Mm-hmm.
How do you function with your literary life and then your cinema life? And do you find that they move together or they move separately?
Sometimes I feel like two-faced Janus because I have these 2 sides of my life. I mean, literature and cinema. And actually, I used to balance between them. And sometimes it exists like parallel dimensions, and sometimes it crosses each other, and it's really interesting to have these crossroads of literature and cinema in my life. For example, I'm trying to write scripts for myself when I do fiction films, and at the same time my documentary films, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that it is also full of poetry. And even the title of our film is the quote of the poem of poet Paul Éluard. So I don't know, it's just my life, and I try to combine all these things together.
Because sometimes it's a challenge, if you have a literary function that you're supposed to go to, and then you have a cinema function that you're going to, or just how do you move through the poetic into the cinema?
It's
The
difficult.
visual.
Difficult to explain, I just I'm going my way as I feel, and sometimes I do all these things just intuitively, and maybe I'm not able to think differently or to make my films differently. I mean, I'm also the person who used to think, how to say, literary. I mean,
Poetically?
yeah, probably.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but at the moment, actually, cinema won because it came to the fore, and I don't feel as a writer anymore. I mean, during the last few years, I did not write anything. I was just shooting a lot, but
That's
it
what I'm
happened.
talking about.
Yes.
Because cinema, when you're making cinema, it takes everything, all your senses, all your focus. How can you even read?
Yes,
You
that's a
know?
good question. But
Yeah.
anyway, it helps. I mean, this my other side of my life, it really helps me in my filmmaking.
How so?
I mean, I used to, uh, how to say, I have different tools, different instruments, and I feel as a rich person because I know how to play with words, and I know how to play with images as well. So sometimes I can just combine them, and that is a magic.
Well, while we're talking about that, why don't you explain a little bit to our audience about the title of the film? And because I think that is a good entry into your double-mindedness.
Yeah, I know the title sounds a bit weird, but I was trying to find some special words, special formula that could convey the sense of surreality. Because when you come to frontline zone and to Donbass especially, you feel this strange crossroad of parallel dimensions of war and peace just on every step. And sometimes it looks or sounds so weird and so poetic at the same time. When I'm talking about poetry, I mean just some surreal, gloomy poetry of this combat zone. But I don't know if I could talk about some examples. For example, we have a moment in our film when we see two girls after the school prom. They are beautiful in very nice dresses, and they take a picture in front of their shelled school. And at the same time, we see some military tracks behind them. So I mean that kind of poetry, when you see different things that exist so close to each other. And At the beginning, I was just so impressed by all this reality. And so I was trying to find some poetic title, and I found this famous quote from surrealist Paul Éluard.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Thank you. Thank you for a good answer. So about making films. So I heard you say once in an interview that making a film is all about relationships.
Hmm.
Can you talk about that?
Maybe it's not only about relationships, but when you try to make a documentary, you should be ready that you work with real people, and that is a huge responsibility. And it was a huge challenge for me because I've never studied for documentary filmmakers. So I was shooting my first films just intuitively. I did not know how to do that and how to deal with all that kind of things. And yeah, that is scary because you are shooting real people and they have their real lives and real fears and dreams and all, I don't know, things that all the people in the world have. And it was really scary to do something wrong. And especially when this family, Anna and children, they were so open to us and they trusted us fully. Uh, can you imagine they haven't seen the finished film before the premieres? So the girls, they watch it for the first times at Sundance and Berlinale. And yes, so I mean, I had all the power to do everything with this material, and they did not tell me the word. How should I don't know. And yes, that was a bunch of different lessons for me. But I was also trying to be sincere and open with them. So that was a long journey of our friendship and relationships. And, that is also, how to say, you should determine the lines, I mean, red thin lines that you could not cross sometimes, or you could. So it depends.
And what about your team? Isn't it also true that the relationships, it's about relationships with your filming team?
Yes, absolutely. And I love this thing about cinema the most of all, because I feel, I don't know, like a person, like a captain who leads my ship, and I have my team with me. And me as director, I should know where is that other, I don't know, land, and how should we go there. And yes, that is also a huge responsibility, especially when you are shooting documentary and you spend many weeks and months together with other talented, complicated people who have their families and problems and children and all that, I don't know, life behind the scenes.
So you have to be a little bit of a therapist.
Yes, and but sometimes it's so difficult, especially when you don't know what you are doing. I mean, actually, when I started this project, I started from some other idea because we considered to shoot the documentary film about different teenagers who live in the frontline zone and try to shoot films, because we have a very interesting project in Ukraine. It's for teenagers it is called Yellow Bus, and different professional filmmakers arrange cinema camps for these kids. And it's really amazing and impressive how these children forget about all this war around them, and they just shoot the amateur films. But you know, when I chose my characters, I mean different protagonists, it was a moment when I felt really confused because I did not know how to combine all that lines together and what should I do with all these different stories. So later we had a turning point when I've changed everything. I mean, I decided to follow just one family, and I still sure that that was the right decision.
So you went a lot on your gut feeling and intuition.
Yes, and film makers should be brave to do that. I mean, decisions. It's not so easy sometimes,
And
especially when different people are
exactly,
coming.
when different people are telling you different things. And that helps me with a question of how important do you think it is for filmmakers to apply and take their projects to different labs and workshops and pitches, because you are getting a huge amount of other opinions. How do you go through that, and how important is it to do that?
You know, if I'm talking about me, I did not. I have not got the good education because, talking honestly, film education in Ukraine is quite weak now. And when I was a student, that was times of stagnation of Ukrainian film industry, and we did not have any chances to have practice and all that things that students in film schools around the world do. So I missed practice and I missed experience behind my back. So when I got a chance to shoot my debut full-length film, I felt that I need some help, and maybe I need, I don't know, some advices and some fresh eyes of more professional and experienced people. So we applied to many different workshops and labs, and we took part in many of them. And sometimes it was confusing because, you know, you get so contrast opinions about your material, your idea, and all that kind of things. And it's not really easy to trust yourself and to know exactly what you are doing and uh, whose opinion is more, how to say, appropriate. But at the end of the day, I've got very special experience, and especially one workshop was really useful for me.
Which
That
one?
was incubator workshop. If you know
Yes, I
them,
do.
they are really cool, and they lead you throughout 6 months. So you have 3 sessions, and under the supervision of really cool tutors, you can finish your editing. And
Mhm.
that was, yes, a very good opportunity for me. And also, they give you a chance to introduce your project for very important decision makers. For example, when we had second session, different programmers from festivals like Sundance and others came to this session, and they watched our rough cuts, and actually the destiny of our film, how to say, was in their hands
Yes,
at that
I
moment.
understand. It makes a
Mhm.
big difference. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask about the music in the films. In the film, the music is very subtle, and I believe it's all the children.
Yes, absolutely.
So these kids not only live in a war zone, but they're studying and making a film, and then they're playing music. It's really astounding, how they bring up their soul and their heart amongst everything that's happening there.
I think that Anna, the mother, is that person and that director of the family who actually did all that magic things. And especially she gave these chances to her children to live normal life, even despite all these circumstances around them. And when we came to their home, to their town for the first time, and when we spent 2 days with them, we immediately fell in love, because this special atmosphere of their house, I don't know, all children play different music instruments. So they play different games. So they talk about, I don't know, art and all that things. And yes, that was amazing. And I found out that I actually don't need any other music except the music of these children, because that's enough. I don't
That
know.
was a really that was a really good decision on your part.
Thank you.
You said this is your first feature-length film. You've made short fiction and commercials. And I heard you say that good film is something beyond technology. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I have some experience, but at the same time, I feel as a beginner, and I am the beginner because I only started uh, to look for the answers for that questions: what cinema is, and what kind of filmmaker am I, and what kind of tools can I use. I already shot the other film. I'm finishing it now, and that is my debut fiction full-length film. And that was so interesting to compare now, because it's like different kind of realities, documentary and fiction. Because when I'm shooting fiction, I'm the god, and I have my superpower to decide everything and to play with my characters and everything as I want. But when you are shooting documentary, reality is the god, and your task as a filmmaker is to catch all that special moments and to be attentive and I don't know. And yes, that is a magic, and it's really difficult to explain how does it work. You can only trust your intuition and heart how to do that, and how to make the puzzle from all that different scenes to tell the story, because that is also a big challenge. The storytelling in documentary films. But I'm enjoying my filmmaker's role now, and I want to shoot more.
Well, that's good. That's good. Can you tell us a little bit more about Yellow Bus?
Mm-hmm.
You said a little bit about it. Are the kids actually in a bus, or is there a bus that goes around to the villages, or is it just the idea, metaphor of Yellow Bus?
I'm not really sure how the title came to this project. As I remember, they had the yellow bus, but actually the project is much bigger than only one bus. Yeah, but the project is actually really cool because different professional filmmakers, they've decided to be the volunteers, and they found their way how they could be useful in terms of these war times. And as to me, that is one of the best things that you can do. I mean, to work with children and teenagers who live there, because they are so tired of all that war situation and all that scary things. And at the same time, the war is routine for them, and the cinema is a magic world. And I was the tutor at one of the camps, and I admired this atmosphere because these kids, they were so inspired by all this project. And sometimes we had very strange and weird moments. For example, I remember at the very first day, we had a moment during the master class. We showed some pieces from Bertolucci, and at the same time, we've heard the sounds of shells from outside. And all these kids, they just did not pay attention to it because it's something normal, something boring for them. And that was such a strange, again, crossroad of different realities of art and war. And when you have a chance to uh, see how all these children become the team, and how they have just 1 week to create a story, to shoot it, to edit, and then to have a premiere in their small towns. That is a very, I mean, that is something special. Actually, that's a pity that I have not shot the documentary project also about Yellow Bus. It could be really interesting, but maybe I was not experienced enough, and I did not know how to
Catch
do
it.
that. But
Catch it.
yeah.
How much did the virus affect screenings of your film and your travel and everything?
That's a
A
question.
lot, right?
But me and my team, we were really lucky to catch the last train of normal premieres at huge screen halls, because we had the world premiere at Sundance, and that was a very special experience for me. First of all, that was my first time in the US, and I loved it. And, we had sold out at all 5 screenings, and audience was so great because people were crying and laughing and asking so many questions, and I got such a huge power uh, from that trip, and we even won the award, and that was something incredible. And then we also had a chance to be at Berlinale. And what was also very important, the girls from the family, they have attended these festivals with us. So can you imagine Miroslava, who is the third year student of the film school? Her first film festival was Sundance, actually. I'm really happy that they had that.
They must have been in a fantasy land, First of all, and was it hard to get everybody to come? Visas and all this, or everything just moved because it's Sundance and things?
Yeah, it was not really easy, but at the same time, that was something special. And, I'm the first Ukrainian director who took part in the official program of Sundance. So different people helped us, and also Ukrainians in the US helped us to
Uh-huh.
to come, and that was really great. But later, all this lockdown situation just closed all the doors, and I think that is also challenge for all of us, because we have only these small windows of Zoom, and
Exactly.
I miss real people and real screening halls and all these conversations.
Absolutely. We
But
all,
at the same time, we should remember that some things are much more important, and I believe that people will be healthy, and this crazy world will open its doors for us again.
well, I think that that's a really nice way to end this. And so I'm going to end, I'm going to thank you very much, Iryna. Um, and I do want to know about your new film before we leave. So tell me a little bit about your new feature film.
Okay, talking shortly, there is a coming of age story about the boy who is growing up in 90s, and the film is actually based on the novel of Ukrainian writer Artem Chekh, and he's also my husband. So that is a family business, as I'm joking. And also our son, he played one of the main roles. So that is something really strange and special for me.
See this poster here behind me? This is
Yes.
son's film. So
Yeah.
I understand the family business.
Yeah, but if I can add something, this story is mostly about relationships between teenagers and broken adults who have traumatized us, but at the same time who were trying to fill our lives with some nice moments. Because I'm also the teenager of 90s, and it was a very difficult period in my country, because it was shaky, and all the people just felt confused in their small, I don't know, cages of their poor apartments. And I remember my parents, they were so young and so confused, and they did so many mistakes. And now I'm the mother, and I do so many mistakes every single day. So this is my attempt to talk to my parents and to my son, and also to many people of my age around the world.
Do you have a name for the film?
Yes, the name is Rock, Scissors, Grenade.
I see.
I have weird titles of my films.
Um, is war still going on?
Yes, it is. It's not at the same active, how to say, stage at the beginning, but unfortunately, we are still in that trap of never-ending war, and no one knows what is ahead of us. But
It's happening in one particular place?
yes, all the war actions are actually in Donbas zone.
Still, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that is a long conversation.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I thank you very much for this conversation. Wish you luck on your next project. I've really enjoyed looking at your other interviews, especially the one from the Scottish Documentary Institute. That was really helpful. Your master class. You don't.
Oh, really?
You don't call yourself a master, but
No.
but still, it was a very interesting interview and helped me a lot to form some questions, so I appreciate that. And thank you very much, and keep doing your work.
Thank you. And please say hi to Seattle and to my beloved US. I missed your country so much because last year I've been there twice at Sundance and then at New York, in New York at MoMA Film Festival. So I miss it, and I still have dreams about my great holidays in US.
But I have one more question. Just, I'm curious because I've been to Odessa Film Festival many times, and I was also on a jury there. And I really, seems like things as far as Ukrainian film cinema were getting very interesting, and there was support. And now it seems like something's happened. I don't know exactly what. It seems like it may have put you all back a bit. Whereas you were really moving forward for a while. I really felt like things were developing in really good and interesting way.
Yeah, it looked like that because a lot of things have changed during last, let's say, 10 years, and we've got more chances to shoot something, and many young directors had this opportunity. At the moment, it looks like we have again quite unstable and uncertain times, but let's see. I hope that when the train is coming somewhere, it's not so easy to stop it on its way.
I hope so too.
So I believe we will survive.
Thank you very much, Iryna.
Thank you.
Best of luck. I hope we see each other in the flesh someday.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.